Hello again, Irish fans, and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Notre Dame Basketball with Mike Bray. I'm Jack Nolan, and Mike, you're halfway through this grueling 4-game gauntlet. You're 1-1, and you're a couple of points away from being 2-0.
Yeah, we were disappointed we couldn't get out of this road swing 2-0. I loved how we played at Clemson against a very good defense. And we gave it everything we had against Virginia, took it to overtime, had a chance to win it, and just couldn't knock it down. So let's regroup and go back on the road again.
When we come back, we will take you to Clemson for a look at yet another grinded out in game situations victory for the Fighting Irish.
Inside Notre Dame Basketball is presented by TireRack.com and brought to you by Coca-Cola, Under Armour, Gatorade, Vivid Seats, Canon, and Sirius XM.
I know you're taking this grueling 4-game stretch as a series of 1-game challenges, but everybody on the team knew if you're going to make a move this month, you had to win at Clemson, and you came out. Couple of turnovers early, but you hit 5 of your first 7 shots. You jump out to a 7-point lead.
Anytime you're on the road, if you can get off to a good start, that helps you believe a little bit, maybe neutralizes their crowd. They're a really good defensive team, so to get off to a good offensive start and score a little bit early makes you feel better.
And after the start, they cranked up their defense and got you out of rhythm, but you defended them as well, and neither team scored for nearly 4 minutes.
You know, I think we're playing pretty darn good defense. You know, everybody's talked about our offensive numbers through our home stretch, and they are impressive. We knew we weren't going to score 80 at Clemson the way they defend, but then you got to go back and defend on the other end.
Points were really hard to come by in the first half for both teams, but your veteran big guys found a way to score. Mooney and Durham combined for 13 points and continued their very good play as a tandem in the first half.
They do like playing together. There's no question about it. I mean, they play off of each other. There's a connection there. They pass to each other well. So that's really a plus for us when they can get in a rhythm.
Clemson made a run late in the half, but Rex Pfluger prevented them from grabbing much momentum going into the locker room as he hit late back-to-back threes.
You know, I thought Rex was in a great offensive rhythm, and Rex is a better shooter than everybody thinks, and I think he's been trending up as far as making open shots, open three-point shots.
Clemson came out, went on an early 7-0 run in the second half. They took a 7-point lead, but Gibbs, Goodwin, and Mooney answered with 8 straight points for Notre Dame, and it was really just a real slugfest after that down the stretch.
It was going to be a rock fight. We knew it was going to be a rock fight, and so the second half is just one of those, every possession is heightened because they're just so physical and so hard to come by.
There are 3 key plays I want to highlight down the stretch. First, inside of 6 minutes left, game's tied at 43. Gibbs drives to the free throw line and finds Mooney, who knocks down the 3 and gets fouled for a 4-point play.
It was a huge play. We ran a little set, and I thought TJ has great court vision. You look at his assist to turnover. He found his classmate, and that was a big jumper by Johnny, and then he goes and sticks the free throw.
Johnny got his 19th double-double in the game. We're going to talk more about him later in the show. Let's move it ahead a little bit. Clemson rallies again to tie the game at 50 when your team executes maybe the best possession of the entire game. You get 5 touches on the offensive end before Gibbs drives to the ACC logo for the little short jumper that gives you the lead for good.
We got great movement. There's no question about it. Reversed the ball, swung it. This is a really good passing group. They've played together a while now. And TJ has been doing this more, getting into the lane and making plays. And that was a big, big basket.
Now, one of the reasons you never gave the lead up was after that basket, Pfluger follows with 5 straight points. He had a season-high 18 on just 8 shots, 4 for 4 from 3, plus all the stuff he always does for you in a game.
You know, when he can score, it's a great addition. He's got the little step back on the baseline. He's got the 3 up top, and we want him to look to score when they're good shots. You're right, though. Then he did all the dirty work on the other end of the floor, of course, before fouling out.
Even with that, you still had to put the game away, and you did it with an impressive and aggressive press-breaking full-court breakout against that full-court press of the Tigers. Hub to Mooney to Leszewski for the layup. You go up 5 with 45 seconds left, go on to win at 61-57, 4th win in a row.
I thought Hub in that play was so calm in the backcourt as they were trying to double-team him and look down the floor. And again, anytime you can win on the road in league play, it's great, and you get your record to 500 in league League play.
And it was a big win for the Irish, so when we come back, we will take you inside Notre Dame's third road conference win of this season. For the Fighting Irish to make a move into possible contention for an NCAA tournament bid, they had to get off to a good start on this current gauntlet of 4 games in 9 days. Notre Dame senior captains realized this, and they all came through against Clemson. Each captain scoring in double figures, led by Rex Pfluger, who scored a season-high 18 points.
Nobody deserves it more. The kid wants it so bad, and his leadership in the huddles down the stretch, fabulous.
Hub with the basketball now. Notre Dame leading by 2. 1:19 remaining regulation time. Hub puts it on the floor. Throws it to Pfluger. Pfluger for 3. Got it! Huge for Rex Pfluger. And the Irish lead by 5. 57-52. 1 minute left. Timeout Clemson. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Clemson University for tonight's college basketball game between the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame and the Tigers of Clemson.
There's energy and effort tonight. Start off our week with a big W.
Gives to Pfluger. Pfluger, another 3 on the way. Another 3 is good for Rex Pfluger.
Let's go, man. It's our time right here.
Now it's down low to Scott. His shot is rejected by Durham.
There's Gibbs left open for 3. Wow.
Jump on them and be ready to go and be hungrier and be flying around.
Stay together throughout the whole game. 40 minutes, not 30, not 38. 40 minutes.
Off to Gibbs. Gibbs throws it in the corner. Mooney for 3. Got it! And he gets fouled! Notre Dame takes a 46-43 lead. Throws it ahead to Mooney, who makes the catch. Underneath Lecheski. He puts it up and in. And that will do it. The Irish get a much-needed win.
All right, let's run down Rex's numbers one more time. 18 points, season high, career high tying 6 field goals, career high tying 4 made threes on 4 attempts, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and that 3 that gave you a 5-point lead with just over a minute left. Is it fair to say that it was Rex's best all-around performance in his career?
Yeah, I think it has to be. I remember a DePaul game where he really shot it well and scored it well, but to do it in a league game on the road, I thought he set a great tone for us. And when he can score for us, that's a bit of a bonus.
You know, we usually do the Vivid Seats Performance of the Week in segment 5. But folks, why wait? You know who it is. It's Rex Pfluger this week. Here's a look at more of his highlights from the Clemson game.
Challenge head on, and if you think I'm scared, I can say you dead wrong. I do not complain, we are not the same. I'm at the top of my game. I am not to blame if I start to black out, spaz out, smashing all in my path now. I just go insane, I'm in my own lane. I'm at the top of my game.
We've talked about how on this road trip you're looking at each game as one single entity, but really each season you look at that matchup or a couple of matchups with repeat opponents. You don't necessarily look at the history. But you can't escape the fact that everybody knew you'd never won at Virginia. It looked like this was going to be your year. You got off to a really good start. You held the lead for 12 minutes in the first half.
Yeah, I thought we were really ready to play. There's no question Virginia has our number. We have not been able to figure them out yet. Total respect for their program, but I thought our guys were really ready to play after we got some rest on Monday, and we termed it as Rock Fight 2. It was going to be another low-scoring, low-possession battle, and I thought we were very mentally prepared for that.
You have talked a lot about how well you have been scoring with the smaller lineup, but there's another attribute to your scoring output, and it's that Juwan Durham has been starting games really well. And in this one, he got all 6 of his points and grabbed 3 rebounds in the first half, which helped you a lot.
He does get us started scoring the basketball, and he's a post, option for us, and his footwork down there, we want him if he has a good angle to go up and stay around the basket. He gives you an offensive rebounding presence as well, and I think he's a really good passer, so we want to keep developing that.
You also hit some threes in the first half, 4 different guys combining for 5 threes in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think, we're going to have to make threes against anybody. And you're going to have to make them against Virginia because they jam that defense in so much, and you're going to have to make some shots over the top, and we did.
TJ Gibbs did have a tough night offensively, but he hit 2 big threes, one in each half, and his 3 off a brilliant pass from Hub with 6 seconds left gave you a 4-point lead going into the locker room at halftime, which against Virginia is a big lead.
Yeah, anytime you're up 4, 26-22, I believe it was, that is a good, good momentum. And I thought our defense was great, in the first half, really for the whole game. We were going to have to defend them back, and we did, and see if you could have enough offensive surges to get over the hump.
You knew that Virginia was going to make some adjustments. Their pack line defense prevents you from getting into the paint, but they can extend it out. They did. They took away your threes. You were just 1 for 11, but then your guys started going into the paint. You had 16 points in the paint in the second half.
Yeah, I thought we did a better job of getting it into the post. They doubled Johnny a couple times, and he made some great passes to Nate, who cut to the bucket. We got a couple things in transition. Anytime you can get an easy basket and not have to play against their set defense, that helps you.
And let's talk about one of those transition baskets. Hub with a brilliant behind-the-back dribble at full speed, finding Leszewski for the layup.
Really, I thought our possessions were really attention to detail. I told our guys, we're not going to have as many, so we cannot experiment with the ball or mess around in transition. We got to capitalize, and I thought we did that for the most part.
And he's doing it more and more. Nate Leszewski finishing physically at the rim.
That's a big area of growth for him from last year, Jack. Being able to finish around the basket, and I thought he gave us a great lift with some layups and some plays in the paint.
And Prentice Hub was back to his road dog self in this one. He led you with 12 points and 4 assists. At times I was thinking maybe he should be shooting even more, but I think the only people that can really understand how intense the Virginia defensive pressure is are the people on the floor with the ball.
Yeah, I think, you try to ball screen for him. Clark is a really good on-ball defender. We sprung him a couple times to get him looks, but, they were very aware of him in ball screen situations, taking away his stuff. I thought he made some great deliveries off the ball screens to people for open looks.
You led by 5 points a couple times in the second half. Virginia led by 5 a couple times. Not a lot of points were scored, but it was a pressure-packed game.
Yeah, it was it was a great college game. It was intense. Certainly the atmosphere in their building is big time. 2 teams just fighting like heck, middle of the pack, trying to get a leg up. And so it was a fabulous atmosphere, and I thought we were really poised in that road atmosphere.
Well, Virginia went up by 5 for the last time with 7 minutes left, and you could feel the building sense, okay, we got him, we're wearing him down. But your guys answered with 7 straight points, and when Gibbs hit that second long 3 with 2:41 left, you had a 2-point lead.
And I'm thinking, now can we finish this thing enough defensively? Because I don't know how much we're going to score down the stretch. Their defense really, and we just, put them on the foul line a little bit too much at the end.
And there was one guy as well as you defended who you couldn't stop, and that was Mamadi Diatike. He's one of the best players in the league. He had 20 points, sent the game to overtime with a really difficult turnaround jumper with 25 seconds left.
Yeah, I thought, we were a little more aware of guarding their guards and not helping in the post, and he got going. He's a senior. He's a gifted guy. He's a winner. He made some big plays for them.
You only get 1 field goal from Hub in the overtime, but you hold Virginia without any field goals, but they go 3 for 5 from the line, and that was enough for a 50-49 win for them.
Yeah, they're again, I think our defense was fabulous. Everybody talks about Virginia's defense, and it is fabulous. We guarded the heck out of them, but we had to be a little more productive in the overtime. I love the look we got at the end. We got Prentice into the lane, Rex Pfluger with an open shot in the corner, a guy who's made a lot of winning plays for us. Tough luck, it rimmed out.
How do you bounce back in these terms? Because your guys were really upset with themselves after the game.
Yeah, we were really emotionally exhausted. I think the combination of the trip and not being able to close it out against a really good team. I think the key was to get some rest on Wednesday and then tune it up. And then we have another great opportunity. I mean, we've talked about this gauntlet and people, oh my gosh, it's hard. It's a great opportunity, and how exciting it is if you're a college basketball player that works all summer to play at Virginia, at Duke, and then come back and play North Carolina at home.
Well, Coach, when we come back on this show, it'll be time for this week's The Experts at TireRack.com question of the week for Coach Bray. The topic of this week's Ask Coach Bray question is Juwan Durham, who had a decent week for your team. In the 2 games, he made 6 of 9 shots, scored 14 points, grabbed 6 rebounds, dished out 4 assists, and blocked 2 shots. In light of this, diehard fan Brandon Liss would like to know, how has Juwan Durham improved since the start of the season?
You know, I think he's learned to compete more every day, to bring it every day and not be an up and down guy. He's still very young in his basketball career, even though it's his 4th year of college with injuries and sitting out a year. And so I think learning to compete, well, there's no question during that stretch when we rotated to the smaller lineup and his minutes went down, you get cornered a little bit. And I think he's fought his way back from that.
Another guy who certainly has learned how to compete, and we have to mention him before this show ends, is John Mooney. He picked up his 19th and 20 double-doubles of the season in these 2 games against 2 very good defensive teams. Against Clemson and Virginia, he combined for 27 points. He pulled down 25 rebounds. He's having a historic season. He's recorded a double-double in 20 of the 23 games that he has played in this season. That's just under 87% of the games he's played in, which is the highest percentage of any player in Division I over the past 20 years since you got here.
It's just mind-blowing. And each week, it's another milestone. They talk about him with Tim Duncan and guys like that. It is so appreciated, and it's such a neat story of a young man who wasn't sure how good he was going to be when he got here as a freshman and got better and got confident. And the last 2 years, it's been an absolute clinic in how to play hard and battle in the paint.
And Coach, when we come back, we will preview a Notre Dame basketball weekend against 2 of the Blue Bloods of the ACC. I know you're going to be so happy to not be talking about the gauntlet anymore after next week. Hopefully we're talking about a couple more wins, but you end this 4-game in 9-day stretch with a heck of a weekend first on the road at 7th-ranked Duke, a place you are so familiar with, a place where it's very hard to win.
Going to be a tough one. We have won there before, and I love how we've competed in these atmospheres, and we've closed a couple out. Syracuse, Georgia Tech, Clemson. So we've done it before. We've been there before. Fast-paced game. We just were in 2 rock fights, and now Duke wants to score and play fast, and we need to score, to get out of there with a win. But how exciting is it, though? You're going to play in Cameron, and then you turn around on Monday and you play the University of North Carolina in front of your home crowd. I guess that's why we joined the ACC.
It seems like a long time ago, but you opened the season at Carolina, and you actually had that game under control until Cole Anthony decided to set the ACC freshman record for a debut with 34 points. He absolutely went off in the second half.
Well, after an injury, he's back, and I know he's probably going to watch the video of how he went off on us. We have to do a better job on him defensively, and that's all 3 of our guards. There's no question about it. But to have another chance at beating a blue blood program in our league is just awesome for us to have the opportunity.
And I know your guys walked out of what we still affectionately call the Dean Dome back in November saying, can't wait to get them in our place. And even with Cole Anthony, they're not winning all their games. They're not infallible.
Yeah, they're having a tough year with bodies and injuries and all of it, but I look at their personnel, and they still have really, really good personnel. They've got Cole Anthony, and they've got a lot of size to pound you inside. So rebounding the basketball, calming him down will be keys.
All right, Coach, we're going to let you out of here because you have some video to watch and some game plans to put together for a couple of very big games. And folks, thank you for tuning in again this week. We will return next week with all the highlights of the Duke and North Carolina games. Until then, for Coach Bray, I'm Jack Nolan. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, go Irish.
Inside Notre Dame Basketball is presented by TireRack.com and brought to you by Coca-Cola, Under Armour, Gatorade, Vivid Seats, Canon, and SiriusXM.